Here is exactly how I've never got injured for the 6 years I've gone to the gym. Hi, you saw the intro, let's get directly into it. So there's a short answer and there's a long answer. The short answer is just, I'm not a dumbass. If you want to train well and never ever get injured, just don't be stupid. If you can understand that, you will never get injured in your gym career, whatever sport you're doing. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, I'm gonna explain fully. Okay, first of all, I have 5 points, in my opinion, that are the most important into why I've been able to go this far for this long, training this hard with zero injuries. First of all, my background. So, unfortunately, the truth is, I didn't start from complete zero athleticism. You might be different if you, for example, you want to start going to the gym or you want to start weightlifting and you have quite literally zero background sporting experience. It's going to be different. The reason why I have been able to the reason why I've been able to smartly avoid injuries is because of my background of having done taekwondo. See, I'm wearing my taekwondo jersey, my club jersey right now. So, the reason why this helps is because I started taekwondo back in 2015. At that time, I was 10 years old. So, when I was still a kid, I was already doing sports basically. We had to learn how to do kicks, how to put power in our kicks. We had to learn about flexibility and all that stuff. If you think about that, lots of jumping, lots of kicks, as you know in taekwondo. What's the most fragile part of that? Your ankle. I've never injured my ankle. Only had like 1 or 2 minor injuries, which is inevitable when you're doing taekwondo, but other than that, I'm fine. Why? Because when you learn taekwondo, you get taught about the importance of stretching, the importance of warming up and cooling down. You do stretching, you do warm up, and you do cooling down of course, you do warm up before the session and you do cool down after the session. That's my point. You learn that you need to always warm up. Even if you come late, for example, even if you have barely any time, you should always warm up. My trainer, my sabam, always tells me that. You come late, okay, it's okay. Just do a quick warm up. Do a quick warm up, it's fine. As long as you do warm up. You need to go home earlier, okay. Just don't forget to do a little cool down first. That's very important. Not to mention, other than that, the longer I learn in taekwondo, the longer I've been training there, I also was taught how to do rehab techniques. So I was taught about like, oh yeah, so when you're actually doing sports, these are the common types of injuries. You can have this happen to you. I learned about fascia tightness. I learned how to do sport massage. So I learned how to do sport massage to other people, and also from that I know exactly what can be the cause of like certain pains. For example, if you have a tightness in your hips, like if let's say it's tight because of fascia, you can massage that. There's a certain technique to that. Even though I'm not really that good at that, the fact that I learned about it planted a seed in my mind about knowing, oh yeah, so this is able to happen. Not to mention, when I mentioned stretching, you also learn about mobility and flexibility. Taekwondo demands a high amount of hip mobility, for example. You want to kick very high, you need lots of hip mobility. You need flexibility in your hamstrings as well. Although this is not directly affecting weightlifting, like strength and all that, it became my foundation, which makes sense. And then, after that, I started the gym arc. As I wrote here, and as you saw in the intro, I actually started the gym since 2019. So, yeah, I put 6 years, but like, yeah, it's estimated 6 years. Same thing basically lah. So, of course, you start the gym, you don't immediately try super heavy stuff. You start light, you develop your muscles first. So, I built the muscular foundation, did a bodybuilding for a few years. Next, before I continue about the fourth and fifth factors, I need to tell you the hard truth, one of them. Right now, I am 20 years old. It's basically a fact. We all know this that when you're still young, it's easier to stay injury free, right? If you're my age or even younger, you probably don't even know how important warm up and cool down basically is. Sometimes you just go to the gym and you just start lifting. And then when you're done, you just go home and just, I don't know, sleep, whatever it is. Meanwhile, if you're a bit older, maybe you're 30 or 40, I don't know, watching this, you might be going like, yeah, you might be thinking I'm kind of talking a bunch of random stuff because like, you're younger, you don't know how it feels when you're older. You can't relate to us old people that need to warm up for 15 minutes and cool down, do stretching for 20 minutes after we're done working out. I know you might be thinking like that, but trust me, I understand. Right now I train in a weightlifting club, and there's lots of people older than me, really strong, stronger than me as well. The warm up that they do is insane. It's a lot. Now, here's the thing. But now I'm also blessed because I understand the importance of warming up and also cooling down. Because as I said earlier, when you're like my age, you can just come to the gym, do the workout, go home without even knowing what warm up and what warming up and cooling down even is. And even if you get injured, it's probably way easier for you to recover. But the thing is, many young people abuse their bodies in the gym. But the consequences they don't come now. It comes later. That's why all of a sudden you have people 30 years old going like, "Oh, I have a bad back now. Back in my day, I used to bench this much. When I was 20 years old, I used to lift that much." Side note, but this will be explained later in the fifth point, but I don't think it's cool if you're able to lift heavy young, but then when you're old, you become just full of injuries and can't do anything. But yeah, I'll talk about it later in point five. So yeah, the hard truth, yes, I am young, but just because I'm young doesn't mean I don't have any credibility. In fact, that's good because I understand the actions and consequences. I understand that if I need to train hard, I need to recover hard as well. So, anyways, number four. Oh shit, that's the eraser. Number four, what you can actually apply to your life. Just do proper progression, basically. So, little quick additional point. You need to know that your muscles develop faster than your joints. This means when you start going to the gym, your muscles might, like every week, increase in strength. For example, plus 5 points, right? But then your joints, it might take a bit longer to adapt. For example, just plus two, and we put it more far apart. What does this mean? This means that as you get stronger, because your muscles are getting stronger, you would obviously feel like, oh yes, I'm able to lift more weight because I feel stronger. But that might actually be dangerous because your muscles develop faster, you feel stronger, like you can lift heavier, but then your joints might not actually be ready. And the worst case scenario, you push yourself a bit too hard because you didn't know your joints weren't ready, a little bit of a mistake, and then you get injured, right? So the thing that we need to do, the thing that we need to start applying into our mind is lower the ego, lower the number, lower the things you weight, lower the amount of weight you lift, and just take it slow. One of the reasons why I have never gotten injured during my weightlifting arc, my current period of training weightlifting, and weightlifting, as you saw in the clips at the start, it's a very intense sport. Even though the weights I lift are relatively light, like I'm not even able to snatch 100 yet. It's all relative, right? If that's literally the most you can do, then that's quite literally your body's current maximum, which is still heavy, which is still dangerous. And still, it's weightlifting is the sport of throwing a weight from the ground above your head. It requires lots of mobility, lots of positional strength. It doesn't even require that much strength. Honestly, it takes more skill and technique, and also, as I said, mobility. So your joints need to really, like, for example, this shoulder joint needs to be really bulletproof. Because if you can't get into position, well, worst case scenario, well, you might dislocate it, right? So the thing that I learned from doing weightlifting is that you just don't need to rush your progress. I don't mind progressing weight slowly. My snatch is I've been snatching 70 for a few months now. My max was 75 in January. Maybe I'm training a bit wrong because I'm plateauing kind of at a young age, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not a professional coach, so I might be wrong. But still, the point I'm trying to say is I don't mind being a bit slow because it helps me stay injury free. I would rather progress slowly. I would rather progress slowly in the gym rather than be a bit too fast and injure myself. And apparently, I already wrote what I was writing there. Muscles develop faster than tendons and joints. Yeah. So yeah, basically, yeah, it's not a race. Just chill out. You don't need to try and get a 1 rep max every single week. This, in my opinion, is how you train, not stupid. How you not be dumb while training. And number 5, the final point that I mentioned earlier in point 3. So, why was it erased? Okay, this is supposed to be myself here. So, one of the things that supports the not rushing my progress is the longevity mindset. So, this mindset basically says that I still see myself lifting heavy weights. I still see myself going to the gym to snatch 100 kg over in my 30s, in my 40s, even 50s if possible. So train in a way that your future self will enjoy. What does that involve? Well, not getting injured, not training a bit too hard because your ego wants to lift more weights, which might risk yourself in experiencing a very painful injury that might change the course of your life, for example. Like, it's really just simple. I'm kind of struggling to talk a bit more about this because the concept quite literally is just simple. In my opinion, these 5 points are very important in order to stay injury free when you do weightlifting. So, to summarize before I end this video, 5 points. First of all, the reason why I've been able to stay injury free, first of all, I have a good sporting background where I learned about the importance of warming up, cooling down, stretching, and also developing my mobility and flexibility. Second, before I started doing this heavy sport, I had a small period, well, not small period, it was a few years, where I just did classic bodybuilding training. Just went from a normal kid to have a bit of muscle, just to pack a bit of mass on my hands and everything basically. Because of course stronger muscles also allow you to have stronger joints. And 3, the fact that I'm still young, so I can kind of quote unquote abuse this insane recovery abilities. But I need to do it smartly, of course, because I need to understand the consequences. And number 4, being patient with my progression. Not rushing my progress because it's not a race. Just chill out. It's better to just be steady and go up slowly rather than go too fast and just burn out. And number 5, to have that longevity mindset of when I'm already old, I still want to be able to lift very, very heavy weights. And that's it. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.